Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Sun is rising, feel the warmth on my face. There's a lot to do now, but there ain't no race. I sip my coffee, I'm feeling fine. No need to work yet, I'm gonna take my time. It's a brand new day, gotta take it on my way, gotta take it on my way. It's a brand new day, gotta take it on my way, gotta take it on my way.
Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your Resource for Success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. My name is Kimberly McLemore, and I am your host. With us we have Melinda Terry, Chief Operating Officer at Reach Initiative. Welcome, Melinda.
Thank you for having me, Kimberly. It's good to be here.
Well, good. I'm finally glad that we got the opportunity to get this rocking and rolling. We had just a little bit of technical difficulties trying to get this thing going today, but it's a pleasure to have you on. And Melinda, it would just be great if you just talk a little bit about yourself and tell the listeners a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, I'm Melinda Terry. I live in a small town called Emporia, Virginia. I am a registered nurse with over 30 years of experience in the medical field, including ER, ICU, corrections, obstetrics. I'm also a former veteran of the United States Army Reserve. And currently I work with the nation's Veterans Party, the Veterans Administration, and I have recently started an organization called Reach Initiative, an organization to connect our young people aged 15 to 23 to local business owners and entrepreneurs to mentor them to be the next generation of career professionals.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. And I'm also a veteran, so it's always great to talk to a fellow veteran. That's
Awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, and I'm just was sitting here listening to all your knowledge and your background. But tell me, let's back up just a little bit and tell me a little bit about, you say you live in Emporia, Virginia. Were you raised from that community, or are you coming from another community?
Yes, actually, I was born and raised here in Emporia, Virginia. I moved away and lived in North Carolina for over 10 years. And my mother had some medical problems, so I moved back to the community about 10 years ago. And since being here, I decided to go back to school, further my education in nursing, and just was looking at somewhat of the downward spiral of my community. Even though it is a small town,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that the young people needed to have an injection of hope because they really don't have a lot of business opportunities or career opportunities other than the general working at your factory, working at your fast food, or
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. And I think they need it more.
Right, I agree. And it's funny because I think you're the third person since I've been here in the Virginia area. I've been here in Alexandria for about 12 years, and I think you're the third person I know that actually lives in Emporia. I never heard of it until I moved here. So I was like,
Really?
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. I was sort of thinking, I know somebody else who lives there in that area. So now I know three people. So that's a good thing. And I've heard nothing but, great things about the community, even though it's very small. But I definitely have heard the fact that there are some things that they don't have that we would have here, and I think what your program is providing is very important. So tell me a little bit about, so when you came back, is that what inspired you? Was because of the fact that there was nothing there to start this, or was it a multitude of things or reasoning to start this type of business beyond what you just said?
Well, what inspired me was while I was going back to school, further my career, I had to do some research when it came to health disparities. And I saw that Emporia was listed like 124th out of 133 counties as far as poor health. But also, what kind of stuck in my craw, as it so to speak, was there was a writer from California, of all places, who wrote an article on Emporia, Virginia, basically talking what a poor hick town it was. There wasn't anything for people to do. That's why the people, they talk with a country twang, and they have poor health and really doesn't have any type of career aspirations. And it just stunned me that someone would actually talk about somebody's community, and they don't live here, never been here, just, did a basic walkthrough, and wrote this scathing interview. And, I did see that, I was shocked to see, how poorly ranked our county was. I didn't realize that the health disparities were that bad, or even that our crime was that bad, because out of the state of Virginia, we have a crime rate. We're like one of the top 10 worst places to live when it comes to crime per capita.
Wow.
Even though we have a small town, and the unemployment rate is 6.8% compared to basically Virginia is like 4.3 in other communities. And I just felt like that the reason why we're having these issues is because the community at large felt like, okay, this may be all that we have. When I was growing up in the community, we had trade schools, and we had thriving businesses and thriving factories. We had a Purdue plant. We also had trade schools when it came to carpentry, being an electrician, auto mechanics, nursing, that sort of thing. And as I grew up and other people grew up and moved away, those trade schools died down and they did not come back. And I just felt like that those of us who are still here, who feel like that they want to make this their home, we need to share our knowledge with the young people who are coming behind us, because they're our future. And if we don't enlighten them and charge them with the knowledge that we have, then the community is instead of going up, is going to go down.
Absolutely. And really, your community doesn't sound any differently than a lot of these cities that we see or were at one point, like Detroit, just as an example. Granted, they're like 10 times larger than your community, but when you see them as being so elevated, and then all of a sudden it's as if they don't even exist anymore. And you're trying to understand what happened through the periods year after year that a community that was so thriving all of a sudden it seems like as if nobody cares. And even though there are definitely people there who do care, I just believe that sometimes it's just hard for those one or two people to try to save a community. And if other people aren't willing to, like I said, share the resources and teach these kids that there's something worth holding on to, they're not going to hold on to it. And it's no different than we see just within our neighborhoods where, one day you have a community of people where, granted, the cost of living here is very expensive, but then, they have these communities that are available at 1 minute, and the next minute they're gone because they no longer want these people within the community. And we all know what that's about, but I'm not going to get into the politics of it at this point. But I just think that what you're doing is very important. And I think the biggest problem that I have seen growing up, no matter whether it's here or whether it's from the community I'm from in Davenport, Iowa, or any of the communities, that the system has taken away so many good programs that we grew up with. And they told everybody, you got to go out and get a college degree, but we're going to take away all these other programs. And they've taken away the opportunity that some kids may not want to deal with going to a 4-year college, but what happened to all the good 2-year programs? Where they can learn a trade. They've taken all of those things away. Now all of a sudden it's like, we need you to do this again, but they don't have anything available. So now you have to do it on your own. And I don't think that's a bad thing to some degree, but at the same point, what we grew up with was what made us who we were and gave us the opportunities we have. And now they're so into so much of the technology that, they've lost all the hands-on things that still exist and are needed today. So what I wanted, though, is hear is a little bit more about what your program actually provides in Reach Initiative.
Okay. With Reach Initiative, what we provide is mentoring with the young people from age 15 to 23 for a period of 60 days, and we do it on a quarterly basis. What I've done is I've connected with several of the business owners and career professionals within the community to volunteer, to partner, and to mentor young people who are interested in the same particular field. Say, for instance, if someone wants to be a police officer, I have our local chief of police, Chief Pinksaw, who has agreed to mentor a young person for a period of 60 days, as well as other careers and mentors that we have. And what we do, say, for instance, we just had a mentoring session in May the 27th. Those that mentor and that mentee will connect, and they will agree to communicate with each other for a minimum of once a week for 60 days. At the 30-day mark, when they have an evaluation period, as well as at the end of the 60 days of an evaluation. And at that time, they can continue to with their mentoring relationship if they so choose to, or they can end it at that 60-day period. And then we go on to our next quarter of our pairing, which will be in September the 9th. And what the plan is that at the end of the year in November, I'm going to have all the mentors to come together and to discuss the mentees that have come through the program, and they will nominate 3 mentees to get a $500 scholarship. That scholarship can be used for that mentee to use towards college if it's needed towards their career goals, or to be used towards operating their business. If they want to be a photographer, they can use it towards their first camera, that sort of thing. And I feel like by the mentees connected into the program, that it will provide them a platform of a good network that they can fall back on as they grow in their business or grow in their career aspirations. That they can say, Chief Pinksaw, remember me? I was your mentee such and such period of time. What schools do you suggest I go to, or who do you suggest I'm in this area? What police officer do you suggest I connect to, or who do you suggest I connect to in this area that can help me grow even further while I'm in this area? If, say, instance, they're going into the florist industry, I have a mentor in that area as well. Then he could say, this is a good vendor to deal with. This person has good prices. When you're going to look for your building, these are things you look for.
Right.
These are things you look for in flowers, that sort of thing. So I think it really helps in a multi-level of ways. Not only does it help the mentee, but it helps the mentor. I think it helps these mentors to grow by knowing that they play a part in the future success of their community.
Right. Exactly. And actually the future success of that child. And then I'm sure the hope is that, that these children come back and do something else for the community as well. Because not everybody's going to always leave the community. So if they give back in some type of way, I think that would be even more awesome, and gives your program another great asset to look at, that, hey, these are the steps that our children are making because we're extending our help and they're extending their help to somebody else. I think that's really great. So your program sounds very fluid, and I really like that, the way that you have it laid out, and it's definitely necessary in your community. But one thing I want to ask too is that, tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that you had trying to put this program together.
Wow. There have been some challenges. I guess, the challenges that I have faced have been, again, multifaceted. Have been community support, for one, because I guess when you see something that you've never seen before, then it's kind of hard to get behind it. And then you have, with the school system, I did present this system to the school system for the young people that was, preparing to graduate, that sort of thing. And because of, I guess, of past experiences with other programs, they were leery to get behind it, so they chose not to. Okay. And just generally, just getting the word out, and other people saying, you know what, I'm thinking about the same idea, so I'm not going to get behind you.
Oh, boy.
So, yes, and I have run into that from other leaders within the community, and they haven't started anything. So, but I keep pushing because, if you have that plan, I think it's wonderful, because my ultimate goal is, like I've shared with my family and my friends, is my goal is to instill hope into the young people community, because I want them to be able to take care of their families without feeling like they got to work 2, 3, and 4 jobs. Absolutely. Because then you're broken down as an individual and you can't service your family correctly when you've had to work 2 and 3 jobs, versus being able to get in one career and sustain your family and be able to enjoy your family.
Right. Right. And even if they don't want to have go the career route, have their own business, but giving them the
Exactly.
stability that they need to have in order to make that happen. And I, listening to what you're saying, it seems like that is the broken record of all time of everybody talking about, well, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to tell you my idea because I'm already doing it, or I'm thinking about doing it. And like I always tell people, it doesn't matter what type of idea you have. If you don't implement it, it means nothing.
Yes.
So, you taking that step of faith and realizing that you understand where your community is at, but you also realize that something needs to be done. And, definitely you deserve a handshake for that, because for those who are standing in the background talking about, I'm not going to do this for you, shame on them. They really need to understand that we're stronger together than we are apart. And,
Absolutely.
But you just keep on charging for it, like you said, because what you are doing is very positive. So tell me about one of your greatest successes with this type of program.
My greatest success, for one, was getting started. Really, it was. I think I probably thought about this probably about a year, off and on. Doodling back and forth a little bit here and there for probably about a year. I proceeded to go to city council meetings to see what the city council was doing in the community, and I was like, am I going to do something? Am I not going to do something? And so basically for me, it was getting started. But aside from that was making the first mentor-mentee connection, because I do see it as a great opportunity and for not just a mentor, but for the mentee. Because I've talked to my niece, for instance, she wanted to get into a law program, and just to be have a mentor for the summer. I think it was a 2-week program. It was $3,000. Every family don't have $3,000.
That's right.
To give to their child. They may want to, but they may not have $3,000 to give to a child for 2 weeks for someone to talk to them. And here's an opportunity for someone who's willing to connect with the child, and they're doing it over 60 days for free.
Wow. And that's what I was going to ask you. So is your profit, is your a nonprofit organization, your business, or are you?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I was wondering how that was going to work, especially like you said, when being in the small community and, people kind of standoffish, but there's always those people who are willing to help. And I think that is great because, each child definitely deserves an opportunity. And that's with anybody. That's the key to life, is just getting that opportunity. You'd be surprised how many people will soar. They'll get out there and make things happen when somebody's giving them just that chance. So it's a great program. And you're right. The success of that success of just getting started is important, because I'm sure there's many days you sat back and said, oh my goodness, what am I getting myself into, right?
Yes, I certainly have.
Yeah, but like I said, keep charging forward. So another quick question. If there was any other person or any other woman specifically who wanted to go into business, what type of advice would you share with them this evening?
Oh, wow. I think I would tell them to, first of all, they need to write out their vision. I think it's important to dream. And they need to write their plan out, what they want to do and why they want to do it. For me, myself, I have a vision board, and that's what really got me started. I was following this business professional out of Atlanta, Georgia, by the name of Laditra White. And she had produced a book, and from the proceeds from her book, what she chose to do was take those proceeds, and she would do what you call ambushes, where she would go to small minority businesses within the community that just needed a little shove, and she would have her followers to meet at that business and buy their services or their product and give them that support. And I just thought that was so wonderful. And she was like, this little something is going to do this, for this business. And she was broadcasting them on Facebook, and I started watching. I'm like, wow. Just that little step would do something. So for that, it's like you have to take your vision and look at it, and then you have to think about what's the plan, what's your budget. You have to look at the good and the bad and the ugly part of what it's going to take to actually get started. If you have no money or little money, how can you get it started with a little budget and start, getting it out from there? Get yourself around like-minded people who are trying to get up and go up. sometimes you have to cut some people off. I mean, that's unfortunate, but if you have people who have small minds and aren't trying to get anywhere and they don't see your vision, they're not going to help you succeed. They'll help pull you down. They won't help you succeed.
That's right.
So you definitely have to check your network and go from there. And also you have to make sure that you utilize resources within your community. I started utilizing the Small Business Administration. It's free. It's a great tool when you're trying to look at your business plan, different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I also connected with nonprofit organizations on Facebook page. There are really some great groups out there. I joined a group called Nonprofit Success with Takesha Boone. She offers a plethora of information when it comes to nonprofit organizations, as well as she sends out various funding ideas at least once or twice a week. And that has been a great help. Particularly, I submitted for like the Pollination Seed Grant. That's a grant that a lot of people don't even know that's available for nonprofit organizations to start up. They'll give you $1,000 just to start up, as long as you meet their criteria.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, well, that was great advice. I mean, there was a lot of detail and information in there, and you're right. I mean, just really being able to have some type of vision and putting that vision to paper, and that's where I think a lot of people won't take that extra minute. And the big part about doing a plan, no matter whether you want to call it a business plan, vision plan, board, whatever you want to call it, at the end of the day, it's something that's consistent. It's not one time only and, you know, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. You know, it's an evolving document. It's something you consistently look at. And so you can determine when you need to grow, when you need to stay where you're at, stagnated, or just do nothing. Sometimes you need to be able to go back and review your vision so you can understand how to make those steps forward. So your information to provide was awesome. I mean, and then the additional people that you brought up, I think is going to be a good help for somebody who's truly interested in understanding what nonprofit organizations do, how it works, and where you can get some extra help. So thank you for that information. But in the meantime, tell me how the listeners can get a hold of you.
Well, you can get a hold of me at Facebook. Of course, Melinda Terry. I'm on Facebook. You can also reach me at Reach Initiative. I have a Reach Initiative page as well on Facebook, as well as Reach Initiative at Outlook.com.
Okay, great. All right. Well, I do appreciate you coming on with me tonight. Like I said, I'm so glad that we've got everything working with this wonderful technology that we have today.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I learned a lot.
Yeah, let's Skype in its lovely program. But anyway, so do you have any last words for our listeners tonight?
Well, I think if I had any last words, I would say to live your life by leaving a legacy. That when we come on this earth, we come on this earth with a purpose, and fulfill your purpose. Because when we fulfill our purpose, then we can live a happy and successful life. And we want to leave something for our children and our children's children. And that's my biggest goal.
Amen. Absolutely. All righty. Again, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. It has been a pleasure, and I appreciate you sharing your story. And for everybody else, I wanted to also say you have a good evening. Like I said, we're here every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. You can view the WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com. You can also find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. But for the rest of you guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. And like I said, it's been great talking to you. And until the next time, take care.